So my name's Stuart and I'm one of the trustees and Harry Edwards Healing Foundation. And over the last 4 weeks, I've had 3 people contact me, all with links to Harry Edwards in the most unique way. And I just thought it'd be really interesting to hear the stories of some of these people who've contacted us. So I'm going to introduce you to Jason. And Jason contacted me about a week or 2 ago, wasn't it? And Tom began to tell me this story about his connection to Harry Edwards. And I just thought you may enjoy this story as much as I have. So, Jason, thanks very much for coming down. I really do appreciate it. So your story, you told me in the beginning, you're about 6 years old and you had an accident.
Yeah.
Can we just begin there in the same way, just say it the way it is?
Definitely.
Thank you.
When I was 6 years of age, I went to a shop. My mum gave me some money. Zebra crossing. Stopped at the zebra crossing. Car stopped. Walked across. That was it. Next thing I know, I was under a car, dragged 32 yards down the road.
Wow.
Which put me in a coma for 3 months in a hospital in Liverpool. And during that time, I got to see I think it's classed as out-of-body experiences on 3 occasions. That's from the point of being hit by the car to being in the hospital. One of them occasions of the out-of-body experiences, I was in the corner of a room watching down on myself getting operated on. That led me to knowing that something is around me, something from that age.
So at 6 years old, you had that awareness of something.
Something different.
Yeah. Wow.
Obviously, later on in life, I spoke to my parents and they confirmed that the hospital had told them my heart had stopped on 3 occasions. I had to get revived.
Oh my God.
And that's the 3 occasions I'd had out-of-body experiences.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you say you felt like you were sitting on a shelf at one time?
Yeah, almost definitely. At one point, when I was in the operating theatre, I was aware I was in the corner of a room and I was crouched like that. And I was watching the operation taking place on myself. And it made me think, I've got to be careful I don't slip off this shelf. And when I looked, there was no shelf. I was just hovering about 5 foot above the ground in the operating theatre.
And you could actually see what was going on?
I could see what was going on, yeah.
And then when you come round, so you were in a coma for 3 months.
3 months.
And then you come round and you saw angels, didn't you?
I seen angels, which was, some people may laugh, but I seen angels, 32 of them.
Yeah.
And when I came out of that coma, they were there every day around the top of the curtain rail in the hospital.
And you tell a funny story, you said I think it was a nurse or a consultant come over to you at 6 years old. You were saying, I could see the angels.
Yeah.
And they thought, well, just carry on with the story from there.
The nurse opened the window this particular day and all these angels started just gently going out. And I was looking and I was thinking, where are they going? So I called the nurse over and I said, where are they going? And she was looking, saying, where's what going? And when I explained the story to her, then I got a visit by the hospital vicar or the priest and a consultant who deals with brain injuries who wanted to question what I'd seen.
Yeah.
You know, so that was something else I had to tell them about, which they were all intrigued.
Yeah.
You know.
Tell your mum and dad?
Told my parents as well,
What did they say?
They were amazed. They were amazed.
Wow.
You know.
So you had a psychologist come out and almost check see if he's not going mad.
That's right.
But you had a priest who kind of put you at ease, didn't he?
Oh, he put me at ease. He spoke to me. He said, "What you're seeing is what can happen."
Wow.
You know.
Yeah. So you recovered as a child.
Recovered as a child, yeah. And then fast forward some years, and it would have been 2016. We had a family skiing holiday, which caused an injury for me.
Well, you had sort of a bit of luck, didn't you, really? Before that, you had a bit of money come your way, didn't you?
Yeah. We had a bit of inheritance came our way, which gave us the ability to go and have a skiing holiday,
Like
which
a
is
dream
expensive.
holiday, wasn't it?
Yeah, dream holiday we'd all been looking forward to, you know.
And then,
On the first day of the holiday, I had an accident and totaled my knee. ACL ligament, MCL, another bit of an injury there. So I was out of action for the week on skiing. And I came back home, went to my local hospital. They done an x-ray and said, there's a lot of damage done there. There's going to be an operation due in 6 months' time.
wow,
So,
you're self-employed.
Self-employed as well,
You're
yeah.
a joiner.
That's a journey, yeah. So it wasn't something I was looking forward to, especially with the recovery time.
Yeah, because you got the mortgage, the kids to look after.
Yeah.
And then you what?
Well, and then what happened then is I was in rehab, getting my strength back to my knee, ready for the operation. And a week before the operation, which I didn't really want anyway, a week before, I'd been into a local DIY store and I was carrying 2 quite heavy items. And as I was walking back to my van, my knee gave way and I was in agony and it swelled up again.
Because you built it up, hadn't you?
Yeah, I
Doing
built it
weights
up,
and
doing
physio,
training,
you know, really working hard,
Yeah, I'd
but
spent-
kind of getting back on track, ready for this operation.
Yeah.
And then that
Straight
happened
away,
again.
yeah. I'd spent 4 months
Wow.
recovering and trying to build my legs up, my leg strength, etc. So when I went home, I finished work early that day, went home, got showered, got changed, lay on the bed and just put my hands together. I felt sad with myself and said, please God help me. And at that point, everything changed. At that point, I had a vision of an American Indian, you know, the type with the headdress, etc., flower, feathers and stuff, you know that type of
So
thing.
you actually see that at the end of the bed, you
Seen
saw
it,
it.
seen it.
Wow.
And in my mind, consciously, I said, who are you? And he said this name, Red Wing. I was amazed. I never take drink, I never take drugs, I don't drink. And I was thinking, why am I seeing this?
Yeah.
You know, and from that point, within a few seconds, this gentleman called Red Wing said, let me introduce you to this doctor. And this doctor appeared. But he was wearing like a longish white coat, you know, like the old doctors. And he said his name was Mr. Johansson, who I found out,
Did some research.
done some research, I found out he was a very good spiritual healer who was actually friends with Harry Edwards.
Right.
They actually knew each other.
So at the time you've got Red Wing and you've got Dr. Johansson in front of you.
Yeah.
And then almost like miraculous, your knee just
Instantly, as soon as I got up to go downstairs, my knee pain had gone and my knee had, the swelling had gone and my knee's been fine since.
That's amazing, isn't it? So on the back of that, it started you on a pathway of searching, seeking, inquiry, didn't it?
Most definitely, yeah.
What happened then on the back of that? Because it's not in your everyday experiences to have something like that. So you must have questioned, you know, did I hallucinate this? Was it in my mind? What was the pathway to you getting clarity on that then?
Well, my pathway led to me starting to visit spiritual churches, which I was told by a medium that you are a healer. And I was a bit miffed, so to speak, as to why me. And that took a bit of time to comprehend up until one medium came up to me and said, why not you?
Simple and direct.
Simple and direct.
Yeah. So the connection with Harry then, so you researched this Dr. Johansson, found he was a doctor of that same era, you know, of Harry Edwards. You felt like he was working through you. And then you went to spiritualist churches and you got some messages, didn't you, from...
Yeah, I had messages from different mediums saying, you have a person who comes around you called Harry.
Well, didn't they say a different name originally?
Originally, someone said some other names. There was quite a few mediums at the time telling me various signs. You know, someone said there's someone called Henry.
Yeah.
You know, and which I've later found out now was Harry's name.
Right.
You know, so.
And then what did you do with all of that? So you kind of, because you never told anybody anything,
No.
did
no.
you? Your wife, you kind of, you
No.
just thought, and, you
Kept
know,
it
your
quiet.
sister-in-law and everything else. And then your sister-in-law, she had an issue, didn't she? And you're coming back and you said what to her?
Yeah, well, a lot went on. A lot went on during that time.
Like what?
But with regards to the healing side, one night time when I was asleep, I had a vision, another vision, and it was a vision of the church inside the Harry Edwards ground.
Wow.
And that's what
This was here,
where we sit now, and that's what the main part of all this figured out for me.
Yeah.
That I was standing here in this church now, and I was aware of that chair which is just there. There was a person sitting on it, but was facing that way.
Yeah.
And the person swung round, and it was Harry himself. And he said, "Come forward, my friend. Put your hands out." I put my hands out like this, and he said, "Use them hands wisely." They were his words.
You know, when you told me that, use those hands wisely, there was a resonance in the way you said it, you know, a resonance of truth. So what did you do with that?
So from that...
Because you didn't know, did you? Didn't
No.
know this chair swiveled round.
I didn't even know.
You're a joiner, you didn't
Yeah.
know the chairs were made like that.
Yeah, so that led me to do some research on this place, and I phoned up, spoke to a lady who used to work here, and she invited me down, you know. So I came down here, and she took me into this room, the church building, and she said, "That's Harry's chair." And I said, "No, it wasn't the chair I seen," because I wasn't really conscious to the chair, but I was aware that all swivel chairs are normally like black leather type.
Yeah.
And I explained that to her, and she said, "No, this chair swivels round." So at that point, I was amazed.
You must
I
have-
knew it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It
You
was-
had confirmation
yeah,
in your own
confirmation.
unique way.
Yeah.
And did you feel a connection to Harry Edwards from that moment? You feel?
Straight away, I felt the energy in this place, not just when I parked the car on the car park, but also within the building. So much so that the lady who worked here at the time took me into one of the rooms, and she said, "Could you go into this room and see if you can sense anything?" So I walked the perimeter of the room, and I was aware of a voice which says, "Stop, take 2 steps backwards." So I explained I'm being drawn to this spot here, and the lady who was there with me said, "That's amazing, because where you are standing, that's where Harry had a desk, and he passed away there in that same spot."
You see, you come across to me like as a very grounded man, you know, trying to make sense of some extraordinary experiences, which is the beauty of all of this, because you can't fabricate that. People hear truth, you know, in a certain way. So what now? Because you went like you've been doing the spiritualist churches and the healing, you know, what now? What do you think now? Because you come here and you rang me and said, "I've got this connection." What do you think happens now?
Well, I'm a believer in our lives are mapped out to a certain extent. That's what I firmly believe in. Right? And possibly one day the healing will grow even stronger and more powerful, and be able to be assessed or accessed by more people.
Yeah, we hope so.
You know,
And that's the goal. And that's why sharing these stories of everyday people. You know, there's a great saying called "Coincidences go to where remain anonymous." And look at the pattern of your life, you know, from the age of 6, you know, all the synchronicities and coincidences that you've followed, not really knowing why, have led you to doing something that you absolutely love. Because you said to me, that you love people to come away feeling better,
Yeah,
and that's your only goal.
definitely.
You know, and whatever it is, you know, that's working through you is it's no different for anybody. Everybody can do this in their own unique way. It's come to you through these extraordinary experiences, but it's given you what would you say it's given you the most?
I'd say it's given me pride knowing that I'm helping people.
And isn't that it really? So initially you never said anything to anyone, and now you're not hiding that light under a bushel. You're saying, here it is, make of it what you like.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
So another story, one of which we're going to hope share many of them, you know, and I'm sure you've got your own. But thank you very much, Jason, for coming down. I do appreciate that.
Brilliant.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Thanks very much, guys.